What do you say we talk about gratitude today? The power of the gratitude that we are feeling and that we have inside of us, inside our hearts and inside our bodies, inside our brains, and how we can use that outwardly to literally strengthen every single relationship that we have, even the one with ourselves. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Privately Outspoken. It's me, Cheryl Drinknall. My life is a podcast, and I welcome you into it every single week with some of my thoughts and hopefully some inspiration for you. I want to talk about gratitude and appreciation in all our relationships and how we can really use that and voice that and just strengthen them. Life keeps us busy. All the electronics, all the social media, all the little platforms. Even if we wanted to put our phones down, it's very hard to unplug because of our responsibilities that are now connected to the phones, to the screens, all the apps, the social media, the texting, and all the communication online has really affected our ability to even show appreciation, I think, sometimes. One thing we want to make sure that we don't lose is our gratitude and how we show it. With the new technology, we just really truly feel the hustle and bustle a lot more than people used to, because now we're just expected to be on call for every person and everyone's needs and available for every thought and everything at any moment of every day. We do get caught up in forgetting sometimes to express our gratitude because we are feeling stressed. We are feeling all the pressures of our lives. But I think it's worth the reminder to put appreciation in the forefront. It could strengthen our relationships. So today I just want to uncover those, talk about some unique approaches to showing our appreciation that can make a world of difference in our life. I know that that has helped me in my life. It's easy to forget to appreciate the people that we really, really care about and that we do love. What if I told you there's a few simple little changes that we can do in our day-to-day routines that could drastically change that? I have split it into 3 different sections. The first is the impact of our invisible appreciation, something that I've been exploring lately. It's all about recognizing all the unseen efforts that our partners and those people around us do. All those things that they do that they aren't recognized for, that they don't get a little clap or pat on the back. Although we may not be seeking validation for those things, it sure is nice when somebody sees something that you're doing and shares that with you. In our day-to-day lives of all our responsibilities, that could be literally anything. It could be, thank you for always keeping our finances on track. That could be, Mom, thank you for just keeping our family schedule just so aligned and making sure that everything is taken care of. That could be showing our children and expressing to them when we notice things, right? As a mom, we're always having to point out things they're not doing the greatest. And then that feels kind of bad for us to do, but it's our literal job is to help them stay in alignment of being a good person. And it's very hard as a parent to just sit back and have somebody make mistakes that you know you can help. Some things we have to let them do, but there's other things that they're just so many minuscule things that we have to be on top of them for that. So when we do go out of our way to notice the things that they are doing or noticing the language that they're using, or, I try to really tell my kids now things like, "I really like the way you spoke that," or, "Oh, I love that you handled that way better than you had in the past." Like, just simple things that shows that you're recognizing that they're getting better. They're getting better and they're improving on things and that it is noticeable and it's not just unseen just because it's unspoken. It's really important to be around people who do see you, who see things and sides of you that in all this hustle and bustle, that they recognize things that you're doing and they recognize your intent. They recognize your hard work, your effort, and your hours you're putting in, your dreams, where your heart is at when you're making these decisions you have to make. Those things are really important. And I know in relationships, for instance, like romantic relationships, marriages, and boyfriends and girlfriends, it's really important to express those things because we all know resentment builds and resentment builds and resentment builds, and then connection fades. And it's very hard to get back once that's gone. Second one is a little twist. I'm going to call it the appreciation swap. This is a fun little thing that you can do to refresh your relationship. If it's kind of getting stale, you can sit down with your partner. You can talk to them on a personal level every day, at the end of every night, or every week, or however you've carved out your relationship. What I mean by swapping appreciation is basically the practice of sharing things that are important to you, sharing things that you are grateful for, sharing things and letting that deepen the understanding and create this bigger closeness between two people. Because when you do have the safety and you do have the trust and you do have that connection emotionally and you do feel safe to share each other's inner worlds, not just your outer worlds, but your inner thoughts and your inner things or things that are important to you. Maybe you share a song with somebody and be like, this is why this song is so important to me. When you hear me play this song over and over and over again, this is why. How about a smell? I had a conversation recently about how much smells trigger our memories and trigger our emotions. I need to do an episode on that. Maybe I will. But maybe share why this smell is one of my favorites because my grandpa wore that cologne. For me, one of my favorite smells is newborn babies out of a bath. That's something I'll never ever forget. That's important to me. And it's kind of neat to know whether it's important in the day to day of my life. It's good for you to know, right? It shows my nurturing side. It shows that I connected with my babies, and that was just an important time in my life. That was quality time to me when I had my babies. It was something that I connected with them and motherhood. I'll share something personal about this type of appreciation swap, and that is my love, my boyfriend, when I first met him before we were ever a thing. Something that bonded me with my boyfriend is when he shared the meaning and the setup and all the feels about each picture that he takes because he's a photographer. I love hearing him talk about it. I love hearing the passion that comes from it. It's not just here, click a picture. That's why he's so talented because it's it's more than just a picture and it comes through in all his work. That's something that really bonded us right away because I'm such a deep feeling person. And when I listen to him talk about not just taking the picture, but getting the shot of the emotion and creating that through art and through photography, the respect I have for his talent and his emotion and his sentiment bonded us, and it bonded with my emotions of seeing someone who sees more than just something so simple, sees something bigger, feels something bigger, who really has the feels about things the way I do. The third idea or reminder would be just simply daily reflective rituals, right? Just say thank you. Have you ever had a gratitude journal? Have you ever had a little part of your notes on your phone? I have a billion notes on my phone and I just open it up and I think of something that I'm grateful for. I actually write down some not good things as well, certain emotions that I'm feeling because I don't want to forget them and I want to know where I come from and where I go to. I like to see the starting point. I like to see the evolution of my growth and I like to see that in my journaling. But when it comes to gratitude, I definitely write down gratitude and I speak it a lot. I speak it and I've also found myself holding back gratitude as well as a protection and a wall against perhaps something that I was still seeing if it was safe and real. And yeah, I've learned from that, I would say, in my life. Another thing I try to do when I'm, saying thank you is I say why. I say because it made me feel this way, or I feel connected to you because you did this, or I love the way you do this. This is how you've inspired me. This is how your friendship has meant something to me. Your actions within our friendship has meant something to me. And this is why, because I hadn't had that. I had a friend recently do something and stood up for me. It was an action. It meant a lot. I felt it standing up for me, but it was also standing up for women. It was standing up for women in general of, yeah, absolutely not. I have a lot of respect for her for that. And I have a lot of respect for myself as well. When we can frame our gratitude into our feelings and explain things, that does turn our gratitude into this bigger tool for our relationship development. It makes things bigger, it makes things more important. It does create deeper connection. So it's worth practicing for sure. Once you practice it, if that's not something that you do, sometimes we often think, well, yeah, no, I show gratitude all the time. But when you really, really, really put it into practice and consciously have it on your mind, you'll be surprised at how good it feels to tell somebody. We all talk about our egos and we have these egos and people seek validation. We probably all do. You want to know a good way to seek validation of being a good person? Tell somebody what you appreciate because that shows what is important to you. If I say, I really appreciate that you did this because it made me feel this way, that is showing to that person what's important to me. They're getting to know me. You're also learning about yourself because you can think consciously and unconsciously about what you're noticing in this life and how that affects you and how that builds your own character. What do you notice? What is important to you? Sometimes we don't have words until they're spoken out, and then it comes to the surface. For me, watching what comes out of other people is what I notice about them and what I judge their character on. But when you see someone standing up for someone, or you see someone and you hear someone else show appreciation, you learn about what they value. It's very telling when you're an observer like me who sits back sometimes and just observes and listens to how other people talk to other people and listens to those types of things and pays attention. You really learn to read people very, very well. You don't need them to speak what you want them to say. You can actually just watch and observe them and learn who they are by what they're doing, what they're saying, what they're noticing in people, what they value, what makes them happy, what makes them feel good, what really irks them, what they don't have patience for, where they're honest, where they're vulnerable. All these things are right there if we just observe. When we do this within our romantic relationships, the intimacy that is grown from that sort of honesty and that sort of appreciation is honestly immeasurable because you really just learn and you trust. It can be beautiful. So, to wrap up, I have some action steps that we can all take. Let's put them into practice and integrate them into our lives. Number one, again, was invisible appreciation. Leave a surprise note for someone, appreciate something unseen that someone has done, and acknowledge it. Acknowledge something that they do that is often unnoticed. Number two was appreciation swap. So choose a day and then share something that has a personal significance to you and share that with your partner or share that with your children, share that with your mom, whoever you want to build this higher relationship with. And either include a note or talk about it. Talk about why it matters to you and what you appreciate about it. That will probably get a conversation going about what interests they have and what is important to them, and you can learn about them as well. Number three is a different type of gratitude journal. It's a reflective gratitude journal, right? You write about moments that have led you to having some personal growth or something that has inspired you. Share these with people. Share these with people outwardly. You know how I do it? I do it through my podcast. I do it through my interactions. That's a wrap for today's episode of Privately Outspoken. I hope that these insights do bring a fresh inspiration to your relationships. Remember, every little appreciation does echo beyond the moment. It strengthens your love. Yeah, keep sharing your stories. Continue to build this beautiful community of self-awareness, self-love, love for others, and personal growth. All right. Until next time, take care. Stay grateful. Love you. Bye.